Good evening. This May 15th meeting of the Senate Finance Committee will come to order. We have Senator Pappas, you have House File 670, a capital investment bill. Welcome to the other side of the table.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we get started, I'd like to, I guess, talk about the fact that we're here tonight on essentially 24-hour notice. I got a text from you last night. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, but basically saying that we were going to be hearing this bill. And our rules state that we should have 3 calendar days notice so that the public can be aware of what's going on. I know that spreadsheets were put out late, the language has been put out late, and it's just not a very transparent process, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to know why we can't manage to the 3-day rule.
Sure. Senator Pratt, as you know, every year we have lots of times to do it, and I think everybody's trying to give as much notice as they can. Especially near the end of session, there's a lot of things changing constantly, and this is one of the bills that has been changing. And I had a request yesterday, can we hear the bill today? And yes, it's very short notice, but I tried to give you as soon as I knew that this was likely to happen. I checked to find out how likely it was that this could be ready and let you know as soon as I could, and that was literally minutes after I heard we were going to consider this today. So I'm trying to give as much notice as we can, and yes, the Senate rules ask to give as much notice as you can. 3 days is what's requested for this, and near the end of the session, as you know, the practice year after year has been, I know I've been hearing about meetings that happen half an hour after we were notified about them for the first time. So yes, I try and do the best I can, and 24 hours was the best we could do here.
Mr. Chair.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, this is a really big change that's being proposed. And the spreadsheet was posted at about 9 o'clock last night. I quite honestly, I forgot to check to see when the language was posted. But it wasn't posted, if I recall, it wasn't posted as of this morning. And it's not just for the senators so that we can understand what's going on, but it's for the public so that they can understand what's going on. And while the rule says to the extent practical, we have essentially 8 days to go. If you count today, we have to be done by midnight next Monday. There's lots of time to get this done. And Mr. Chair, I'd ask again, what is the urgency? What is the urgency that makes it so that this is not to the extent practical? Because it sure seems practical to me that we could have posted this thing for 3 days. Everybody in this room, everybody online could have had a chance to review the spreadsheet and review the bill language, and we could have got it done in a timely manner and sent it back to the House. They've already passed
Chairman.
it. Senator Pratt finish, and then Senator Pappas next.
I thought he was finished.
Mr. Chair, I'm finished.
Senator Pappas.
Sorry, Senator Pratt, I thought you were finished. Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to remind the members that we did post this on Friday morning. We had an informational meeting in capital investment with the House and the Senate, and then we did take in comments and suggestions over the weekend. So we have kind of an updated version, but the spreadsheet was posted Friday morning. And as you know, with a capital investment bill, mostly everything is in the spreadsheet. The written information is really just sometimes there's a new program. In this case, it's skate parks, and sometimes there's other type of technical information that we need to put at the very end. I mean, the Article 2 is just like a couple pages long. So I think most of the information that you could have reviewed was on the spreadsheet, and then I will be making, I'll be informing you of the changes that then we made over the weekend, and then I have an amendment with a few more changes.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Senator Pappas. But Senator Pappas, it's not about whether or not this was seen by the Capital Investment Committee, and there was no action taken by the Capital Investment Committee since it was an informational hearing.
But it was exposed, it was presented to the public.
Senator Pappas, let me finish, please. It's not, first of all, the Capital Investment Committee was posted about 24 hours before it was meant to go up. But this is the committee I'm talking about. This is the committee that we have time to give a 3-day calendar notice to. And just because another committee posted a very similar document, and as you said, it's changed over the weekend based on feedback you've gotten, it's this committee and the public watching this committee, and this is one of the committees that is most watched in the Minnesota Senate because we are the last stop before it goes to the floor, that we should be as transparent as possible. And we certainly have, with counting today, 8 working days to go. And you're telling me that we could not find 3 days' notice to get this thing done. And all I'm asking for is, what is the urgency? What is the reason the majority is pushing this thing and violating Rule 12.3?
Senator Pratt, just so you recall, last year we had many hearings that were given far less than 24 hours notice, especially near the end. And so I apologize that we couldn't do more, but and as far as giving the public notice, I agree. That's why I think it was helpful that Senator Pappas had the informational hearing on Friday and getting things posted now. But I will assure you, I've heard of 2 amendments. And I look behind me, I get the sense there are about 30 more amendments, and the public won't have seen any of them until they are presented here. So any notice we can give is better than no notice, and more notice is always better. I agree with you on that, but I'm just saying the practicality of how things work. Yes, if we could have given 3 days notice instead of 24 hours notice for what's in here, that would have been good. The amendments back here, if they could have given 3 days notice, that would be better. It's, again, as they are, there's no notice until they are presented. And that's the way the process works, and that's allowed. And you're allowed to offer amendments with no notice. But I'm just saying that Senator Pappas tried to give as much notice as she could. I tried to give as much notice as I could. And with that, I'm going to just ask that we begin working on the bill and address the concerns about the bill as we do. And with that, I'll ask Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, again, Mr. Chair, I would say that, yes, I was on the Finance Committee with you, and there were times that we had to bring, have hearings on rather short notice, but I don't recall ever doing it 8 days out on a bill this large. And I think some of our other members had some comments. I do know I saw Senator Draheim's hand up. So I'd like to make sure that we can have this conversation just about the process, because we seem to be moving fairly fluidly with the rules these days. We have the rules in place for a reason, and we should be sticking to the rules as the Rule 12.3 leads off, to the extent practical. And I've not heard a reason why it was not practical for us to do this. I can only presume that it was because there's a member in the other body that wants to leave town, and we are pushing for an early deadline in order to accommodate that. And that's not the way we should be doing it. I appreciated Senator Champion's comments the other day about this is the Minnesota Senate, and we shouldn't be afraid to put our stamp on these bills.
And Senator, go ahead.
I would just like to know, Mr. Chair, I'm not buying that it's just because we're near the end of session. We have 8 working days. I'd like to know what the extent practical is that we couldn't have 3 days notice.
Sure. 2 responses. One is in terms of the practical notice, we are not, I'd love to get, my goal is to get done several days early. I don't know that we're going to. And I think we have 7 days from tonight is the deadline. And I remember many times when I was the lead on this committee and asked Senator Rosen about short notice, and she'd say, well, you know, that's the way things are. We're trying to give as much notice as we could. I said, I understand, please try and do better, and I didn't make a big public stink about it because I understand the difficulties of trying to get things through at the end. And so my memory of last year is significantly different than yours because I remember many times when we didn't have 3-day notice or even 1-day notice. But I understand your concern. I'm trying to do the best I can. Senator Draheim.
Thank you, Chair Marty, and I know you're doing the best you can, and I know a lot of the decisions are what I refer to as probably above your pay grade, and they come down to you, and I understand that, but I think Senator Pratt is correct. We could have waited till tomorrow to have this hearing. It would have gave the public a little more time to see it. The version of the A17 that we'll be adopting shortly is dated today at 2:32 p.m. That isn't real transparent for the majority that has the Senate, the House, and the governor's office. So I don't want to waste our committee time here, but I do think we could have had it tomorrow, came in before the floor session, got it through, and had the public have the ability to review what we're talking about today. So thank you.
Thank you. Senator Pappas on Senate House File 670. Senator Dames.
I just want to clarify one thing. Senator Pappas stated that she had put this out, I believe you said last Friday for the, so am I hearing now that for the rest of the session that we have to assume if one committee posts something, that counts for everybody's posting? So then what difference does it make when it was posted for capital investment? This is finance. So the point is it wasn't posted till last night. Well, you and I had this conversation, and I had this conversation with the committee last week. And we're doing the exact same thing this week as we did last week. We're just totally ignoring the rules, moving things on. And it's really unfortunate we've been treating the public and been treating things this way. I know you want to get through this. I understand that. But the other thing is you know, I understand that leadership plays a large role in this, but yet when you're the chair of one of the strongest committees, you do have a lot of authority too if you wanted to stand up and say, you know what, we got to be a little fairer about this, but I'm not going to criticize you for that. I understand what the situation is, but I just want to make it known and make another, you know, have it on the record again that let's start following the rules around here and let's do this right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And thank you, Senator Dames. And again, I said we gave about a 24-hour notice to this, not 3 days. I was just pointing out that Senator Pappas did have a hearing on roughly the same bill. I don't know. I hope you spelled out any differences that have happened since that time, as I think she said she would. But I was just saying that because in terms of trying to get public notice out, I think that's very important. And again, we all know things change. There will be some amendments offered tonight that the public hasn't seen at all. I think that's part of the legislative process. With that, Senator Pappas, when you do go through the bill, I hope you will explain things that if there are things that people were present or watching what you released last Friday or Thursday, whenever, that you will explain differences to that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. The DE amendment appropriates $1.3 million from the general fund to address a portion of the backlog of capital improvements that are needed statewide and urgent state agency priorities. House Bill 670 is an investment in Minnesota's future. The investments made today will benefit the lives of Minnesotans for generations to come. The projects before you will address several critical needs in Minnesota. These vital areas include fixing our roads and bridges, including improving flood protection, and ensuring that Minnesotans have access to safe, clean drinking water. And I do want to specifically mention that there have been a number of communities in our state that feel that they've been kind of left out of the bonding process and have not benefited, although they are providing vital services to their communities. So you'll see things in this bill like funding for youth homeless shelters, health centers that serve various communities like the Native American community, like job training centers. We know we have a workforce shortage, so getting everybody in our state trained and ready to work, especially in the trades, is really important. And then also various cultural facilities you'll see. it's really, after so many years of not doing a bonding bill, it's really, really important that we get something out the door. And, it certainly is my disappointment that we don't actually have a bonding bill here. We have a cash bill. If we had a bonding bill and cash bill combination, it would be a much richer bill. But it's pretty pared down. It's pretty basic. And with that, I would like to turn to Ms. Grunwald-Noldner to go through the spreadsheet, and she'll point out the changes that are made. You going to do from last week too, or just from the DE? I can do the last week ones.
Would you like to do
Friday?
the DE first?
Yeah. I can, it depends if the members will allow me. If you allow me to incorporate the A74, then we can work off the combination of the A17 and the
Senator
A74.
Pappas, you'd like to offer the A74? It's not in our packet, so please wait a minute while it's distributed.
Oh, first we have to do the A17. So I moved the
A17, yes, that's
moved
the
the
delete
A17.
everything amendment.
Right.
That incorporate everything you've been talking about the last few years. Senator Pappas moves the A17 amendment. Is there a discussion on the A17 amendment to put the bill in shape the author wants? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion prevails.
And then, Mr. Chairman, if we could adopt the A74 amendment, then Ms. Noldner
We're not sure we
will.
have the A74 amendment.
Can we pass out that amendment? What? They didn't get copies yet?
Yep, they're working on it.
Oh, should we just start anyway? We don't have copies of that amendment yet, so, Mr. Chairman, I can just mention that what basically happened over the weekend is that there were a number of projects that had been cut because of our limited dollars, and then there was an agreement to add $60 million to the bill, and so then we were able to fund at the original request these projects, and she'll mention them, but I just want you to know they went from a lower amount to now a higher amount, and that is Carver Levee, Shell Rock, Toel Coulee, Madelia, Minnewaska Glenwood, Austin Wastewater, Canisteo, Owatonna, Lincoln Pipestone, First District, the Military Museum at Fort Snelling, and Litchfield Historic Facade. And now I'll have the staff go through the spreadsheet.
Thank you, Ms. Grunwald-Noldner. Please go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, for the record, my name is Hannah Grunwald-Noldner. I'll be walking through the spreadsheet provided in your packets titled 2023 Capital Budget with a timestamp of 7:28 p.m. in the right-hand lower corner.
So the question is, are you going to include the A74 or not?
Madam,
Do that when we do the amendment?
Mr. Chair and Senator Pappas, the current spreadsheet includes the DE changes.
Right.
The A74 changes are not incorporated into
Okay.
the spreadsheet.
So what she's going to do for now is just go through what's in the DE, and then when we get the A74, she can talk about those changes.
Okay.
But the projects that I just read off are included right now in the DE and on the spreadsheet.
Thank you. Ms. Grunwald-Noldner, go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, and I'll just mention, I'll try to note where there was a change from Friday, the 12th to this version of the spreadsheet. If I miss anything, I'll note it for the committee after the fact, but I'll note it as best as I can.
Chair, can we get a date stamp and date on the amendment, please? A date, time stamp.
On the DE?
On the spreadsheet is 7:28 p.m. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's on the bottom.
And it's 9 pages, so my 9th page is separate from the rest. Go ahead again.
Mr. Chair and members, and yes, Senator Draham, it should be dated 5/14 at 7:28 p.m. So beginning on the first page, University of Minnesota for HEAPR, $45 million. For Minnesota State, for HEAPR, $45 million. Moving down to line 16, Minnesota State Academies Asset Preservation, $900,000. Dorm renovations and pre-design, $7.837 million. Line 22 for Perpich Center for Arts, asset preservation at $900,000. On page 2, for the Department of Natural Resources asset preservation at $35,052,000. For betterment of buildings, 20 million. For natural resources acquisition and betterment of public lands, 2.5 million. For wildfire aviation infrastructure, 6.36 million. For improving accessibility to state parks, 1 million. For dam safety repair and reconstruction, 4 million. And under the flood hazard program, undesignated amount of 5 million. For the flood hazard Browns Valley Tule Cooley, 3.3 million. And I believe this is a small increase, or a slight increase from Friday, May 12th. The previous amount was at 2.5 million. For the city of Carver, levy restoration, 6 million, and this amount is increased from May 12th. For Moorhead flood hazard, 11 million. For community tree planting grants, 3 million. For Canaseo open pit mine complex, 8.875 million. This is a new item since the 12th. State forest reforestation, 3 million. DNR grant administration, 152,000, and this is a slightly lower amount than the 12th. The agencies were able to provide us with updated grant administration numbers based on the amount of grants in the bill. For DNR state trails, Milltowns State Trail, 1.785 million. 2 million for Root River State Trail. For Lower Minnesota River Watershed District Area 3, Eden Prairie, 2.75 million. For the City of Rainier Safe Harbor Boat Dock, 3 million. For the City of Shakopee Riverbank Stabilization, 7.136 million. For Shell Rock River Watershed District Fountain Lake Cleanup, 9 million, and this is an increase from May 12th. Under the Pollution Control Agency for Capital Assistance Program Pope Douglas Solid Waste Management, 12.833 million. And I believe there was an appropriation here for local gov stormwater, which was taken out since the 12th. Line 56 for the City of Andover, addressing legacy contaminants, 6.1 million. This is a new provision. Hennepin County Anaerobic Digester, 26 million. Olmsted County Capital Assistance.
Excuse me, Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you prefer to go to the end. I was going to ask on Pope Douglas project, just being it was fresh, if that's all right.
Go ahead, Senator Westrom, if you want.
Ms. Grunwald, is that an addition, or that's part of the lead-all, or is that, can you just refresh me where, when you brought talked about the Pope Douglas solid waste project, what, that's in the amendment?
Mr. Chair and Senator Westrom, the $12.8 million figure is the total amount in the bill for the capital assistance program for Pope Douglas solid waste management. And that's the same amount as the Friday, May 12th spreadsheet.
Very good. All right, thanks.
Please continue.
And I believe I left off on Olmsted County capital assistance at 10 million. And then I'll flip to page 3. Under Board of Water and Soil Resources, 3 million for local road wetlands replacement program, 3.5 million for Reinvest in Minnesota CREP. Under the Department of Agriculture, 457,000 for the East Grand Forks building repair. For the Minnesota Zoo, 15.12 million for asset preservation. Under the Department of Administration, 5 million for capital asset preservation and replacement account, 4 million for capital complex security upgrades phase 2, 4.542 million for the Ford building demolition, 304,000 for sustainable building guidelines report. Then moving on to Amateur Sports Commission, 4.4 million for asset preservation, and 3.5 million for skate park grants. Under Military Affairs, 306,000 for Rosemount Readiness Center 2020 deficiency, 800,000 for Fergus Falls Readiness Center, $855,000 for Moorhead Readiness Center, $4.752 million for Marshall Readiness Center, and $5.7 million for Minnesota Military Museum at Camp Ripley, which is an increase from $1.7 million on the May 12th spreadsheet. Moving to page 4. Under the Department of Public Safety, State Emergency Operations Center increased cost, $11.392 million. For BCA Maryland building improvements, $6 million. This is a slight decrease from the May 12th spreadsheet. DPS grant administration, $133,000. And again, here's a slight decrease after agency consideration on grant administration. On line 106, the City of Dilworth Fire Station, $4.378 million. City of Edina Community Health and Safety Center, $1.3 million. City of Golden Valley Remote Fire Station, $3.172 million. City of Hibbing Regional Public Safety and Training Center, $3 million. City of Maplewood East Metro Public Safety Training Facility, $75,000. City of Shoreview Lake Johanna Fire Department Headquarters, $6.37 million. City of Winona Public Safety Center, $4.5 million. Moving on to Department of Transportation, Local Road Improvement Fund grants undesignated at $22 million. This is a slight decrease from the May 12th amount of $22.5 million. Local Bridge Replacement Program undesignated, $21.967 million. Again, a slight decrease from $22.5 million on the May 12th spreadsheet. On line 120, Anoka County Trunk Highway 65 improvements, $9 million. City of Biwabic road improvements, $1.4 million. City of Burnsville Nicollet Ave Bridge, $3.9 million. Carver County CASA 18, $3.76 billion. City of Coon Rapids Pedestrian Bridge, $3.5 million. Douglas County Box Culvert under US Highway 29, $2 million. City of Fridley Northtown Rail Yard Overpass, $4 million. City of Inver Grove Heights 117th Street Reconstruction, $4 million. City of Medelia Road Improvements, $12.8 million. This is an increase from $6.2 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. City of Plymouth CASA 47 Trail, $6.2 million. City of Rochester Park and Ride Design, $800,000. City of Savage Road and Bridge Improvements Design, $800,000. City of St. Cloud Regional Airport, $2.5 million. City of St. Louis Park, Cedar Lake Road and Louisiana Avenue, $5 million. City of St. Paul 3rd Street Bridge, $21.75 million. This is a decrease from $25 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. City of St. Paul Park 3rd Street Collector Roadway, $7 million. Washington County Trunk Highway 36 and Lake Elmo Ave Interchange, $15 million. Moving on to page 5, under the Metropolitan Council, for Inflow and Infiltration Grant Program, $10 million. For Metropolitan Regional Parks, $5.534 million. This is a decrease from $10.4 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. On line 143, Bus Rapid Transit, $44.5 million. For Apple Valley Transit Station, $7 million. For Grant Administration, $285,000. Again, this is a decrease from the May 12th spreadsheet after agency consideration. City of Champlin, Mississippi Crossings, $1 million. City of Champlin, Parkland, $1.25 million. City of St. Paul, Mississippi River Learning Center, $8 million. Dakota County, Minnesota River Regional Greenway, $5 million. Dakota County Thompson Park, $2 million. Dakota County Veterans Memorial Greenway, $5 million. Minneapolis Park Board Grand Rounds Missing Link, $5 million. Minneapolis Park Board Cedar Riverside Rec Center, $3.5 million. And I believe there was a line for Minnetonka Crossroads of $1.6 million from the May 12th that was taken out. Ramsey County Bruce Vento Regional Trail, $4 million. Ramsey County Park at River's Edge, $6.2 million. Ramsey County Rice Street Revitalization, $3 million. Three Rivers Park District, Mississippi Gateway Regional Park, $3 million. Department of Human Services for Asset Preservation, $4.3 million. St. Peter Sunrise and Tomlinson Building Renovation, $21.568 million. Harriet Tubman Center Nonprofit East Renovation, $3.388 million. And in the May 12th spreadsheet, there was $50 million for emergency shelter grants, which will be tracked in, I believe, in the Health and Human Services budget area. Under Veterans Affairs, $7.6 million for asset preservation, $77.765 million for Hastings Veterans Home campus upgrade. Moving on to page 6, for the Department of Corrections, $28 million for asset preservation. And under Department of Employment and Economic Development, for Greater Minnesota Business Development Public Infrastructure Grant Program, or BDPI, $4.95 million. For Innovative Business Development Public Infrastructure Grants, $750,000. For Agency Grant Administration Funding, $1.52 million, and this is a decrease from the May 12th spreadsheet after agency consideration. City of Apple Valley Inclusive Playground, $1.41 million. City of Aurora's Community Center, $630,000. City of Big Fork Community Center Enhancement, $1.5 million, and I believe this is a new item since the May 12th spreadsheet. City of Bloomington Public Health Facility Design, $1.8 million. City of Brooklyn Center Health, Culture, and Rec Community Center, $5.1 million. City of Brooklyn Park Community Activity Center, $5 million. City of Chisholm Ice Arena and Curling, $3 million. City of Chisholm Film Facility for $2.04 million. City of Crystal Aquatic Center, $2.35 million. City of Duluth Spirit Mountain, $11 million. City of Embarrass Regional Fair Association for Timber Hall, $1.5 million. City of Fridley Inclusive Playground, $500,000. City of Hermantown Ice Arena, $6.5 million. City of Hoyt Lakes Community Rec and Wellness Center improvements, $1.75 million, and I believe this is a new item since Friday. City of Litchfield Wellness Center, $1 million. City of Litchfield Historic Building Facades, $2.025 million. This is a slight increase from $2 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. City of Maple Grove Community Center renovation, $6 million. City of Mendota Heights Pilot Knob, $1.85 million. City of Minneapolis Central City Storm Tunnel, $5 million. This is a new item. City of Minnetonka Hopkins Crossroads Trail Improvements, $1.635 million. And in the previous spreadsheet, this was listed under Met Council, so this was just moved under deed in this bill. City of Minnetonka Opus Public Space, $725,000. And again, this was also listed under Met Council, but now under deed in this bill. Line 206, Independent School District, $4 million. This is an increase from $3 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. City of Oak Park Heights Redevelopment, $2.19 million. City of Richfield Wood Lake Nature Center, $8.8 million. This is an increase from $8 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. City of Rochester Regional Parks Forestry Ops Center, $14 million. City of St. Paul Inclusive Playground, $2.5 million. City of St. Paul North End Community Center, $6 million. City of St. Paul Conway Community Rec Center, $2.5 million. St. Paul Port Authority Hillcrest The Heights, $7 million. City of Savage Sports Center, $600,000. City of Woodbury Central Park Remodel, $7.5 million. Moving on to page 7, continuing with grants under deed. 3,000 feet, $2.5 million. Accessible Space, Inc., $1.15 million. African Economic Development Solutions, 1.5 million. African Career and Education Resource, 3 million. Agate Housing, 5 million. Andai Young Center, 2.2 million. Anoka Area Ice Arena Association, 487,000. Hope for Youth, 8 million. Appetite for Change, 1.5 million. Avenues for Youth, 6 million. CAPI in Brooklyn Center, 3 million. Clues for a Latino outreach facility, 3.5 million. Corner House, 2.75 million. Cultural Wellness Center, 2 million. Division of Indian Work, 500,000. Duluth Historic Armory Arts and Music renovation, 4.5 million. East Side Neighborhood Services in Minneapolis, 300,000. Film North renovation in St. Paul, 2 million. Firefighters for Healing, 1.5 million. Keystone Community Services, 2.6 million. Indian Health Board, 4 million. Irreducible Grace Foundation, 1.5 million. Isaroon, 3 million. Latino Economic Development Center, 3.5 million. Leech Lake Wellness Center, 24 million. Listening House, 2.5 million. Little Earth Neighborhood Early Learning Center, 1.25 million. Little Earth Residents Association, 3.5 million. For the Walk-On Teepee Center, 2.5 million. For the Hmong 18 Council for Hmong Minnesota Community Center, 3 million. For the Minnesota Fund, 1 million. For the Native American Community Clinic, 4.5 million. For the New Native Theater, 300,000. For Northrop King renovation, 1.72 million. For Norway House, 5 million. For Open Arms, 500,000. For Playwrights Center, 3 million. Proceed, 5 million. Excuse me. For the Public Functionary, 450,000. For Red Lake Band of Chippewa, 3 million. For Reconnect Rondo Innovation Campus, 1 million. For the Sana Foundation, 1.82 million. For Simpson Housing Services, 5 million. For the Smalley Museum, 3 million. Moving on to page 8, continuing with grants under deed. Southern Anoka Community Assistance, 2.5 million. Special Guerrilla Unit Hmong Veterans, 2 million. Great River Children's Museum, 7 million. The Link, 5 million. True Friends Camp Courage, 3 million. Indigenous Peoples Task Force, 4 million. The Ukrainian Center, 1.8 million. V3 Sports Inc., 12 million. For Walker West, 4.1 million. Wellstone Center, 2.15 million. We Win Institute Inc., 3.5 million. Moving on to Public Facilities Authority, for the state match for federal grants to state revolving loan programs, 41 million. On line 278, the Water Infrastructure Funding Program total is at 22 million. And for drinking water grants, 11 million, and clean water grants, 11 million. In the Friday, May 12th spreadsheet, this was at 11.25 million each. On line 281, for point source implementation grants, 22 million. This is a decrease from 25 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. Lewis and Clark Regional Water Systems Expansion Project, 22 million. For grants to political subdivisions, line 284, City of Arden Hills, water and sewer improvements, 510,000. For the City of Austin, wastewater treatment, 14.5 million. This is an increase from 3.5 million in the May 12th spreadsheet. City of Babbitt, water, sewer, and utility improvements, 2 million. City of Dayton, wellhead treatment plans, 1.75 million. First District wastewater treatment plant in Litchfield, $5 million. This is an increase from the May 12th spreadsheet. Lincoln Pipestone rural water treatment and storage, $11.5 million. City of Lino Lakes water treatment, $10 million. City of Mankato water treatment, $25 million. City of Medicine Lake infrastructure, $3.5 million. City of Minneapolis water distribution facility, $4.5 million. City of Mound clean water improvements, $3 million. City of Osseo lift stations, $1.6 million. City of Owatonna wastewater treatment improvements, $11 million. This is an increase from $3.5 million from May 12th. City of Rice Lake water sewer system treatment plan, $1.8 million. City of West St. Paul wastewater infrastructure, $1.7 million. Western Lake Superior Sanitary District, $10.5 million. Under Housing Finance Authority, $30 million for public housing rehabilitation. On page 9, for the Historical Society, $3 million for the Historic Sites Asset Preservation, and $700,000 for the Morrison County Weiser-Hauser Museum. And on line 342, the grand total of the bill in general fund is $1.348 billion. On line 355, there are some general fund cancellations of $1.169 million. And on line 356, there's $39 million in general fund money from Lewis and Clark Joint Powers Board state payment offset. And both of those totals count towards the total general fund amount, bringing the net total general fund to $1.3085 billion. And I'll stop there. If members have any questions, I can go into more detail.
Thank you very much. Are there questions from the committee at this point? It's Senator Pappas. If not, you do have the A74 amendment has now been distributed, and it's on electronically now, too. It just
Mr.
got
Chairman,
emailed.
we have a few, we have Article 2 that Ms. James will go over, and then we can
Okay.
take the amendment.
Sure, we will. Ms. James, go ahead with Article 2, and then we will take the A74 there.
Mr. Chair and members, the Article 2 begins on page 69. Sections 1 and 2 are about the innovative BDPI, business development.
Ms. James, could you speak a little bit louder? I'm having trouble.
Sections 1 and 2 are about the innovative BDPI program. These are technical changes to make it possible for these grants to be, to receive funds that are either general fund or bond proceeds. Section 3 increases the cap on library construction grants. Sections 4 through 7 on pages 70 through 71 relate to the skate park grant program. Section 4 changes the possible uses. Instead of excluding cycling, it adds BMX biking as a possible use of the grant programs. Section 5 requires that the skate park has to be accessible to the public without charge for personal use to be eligible, and the skate park has to be constructed of concrete to be eligible for grants. Also, the caps on the grants are increased. Section 6 allows these projects, these skate park projects, to be constructed under a design, build, or construction manager at risk contract. Section 7 allows the money appropriated to the program for these projects to be used for 4 years like typical bond appropriation. And then Section 42 relates to a meat processing business in St. Paul. This was a law from 2022 that is modified here. This relates to the meat processing plant. This modifies the criteria for the Commissioner of Employment and Economic Development to determine the criteria for the program. And that is, and then it sets an effective date in Section 9 for Article 2.
Then, Mr. Chairman, I have the A74 amendment, and if you would like staff to go over that amendment, and that has some changes in your spreadsheet before we adopt it.
Okay. Ms. Kuhn, go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, the A74 on line 1.3 reduces the University of Minnesota HEAPR from 45 million to 43.35 million. Line 1.4 reduces the Min-State HEAPR from 45 million to 43.35 million. Line 1.5 of the amendment reduces the DNR asset preservation to 31.652 million. Line 1.6 increases the betterment of buildings appropriation under DNR. And on line 1.7 and 1.8, 10 million of this 30 million is designated to the State Forest Nursery. On line 1.9, skate parks is increased to 4 million. Line 1.10, I believe, is the Winona Public Safety Center, changing the language there, and Ms. James can correct me if I'm wrong. Line 1.11 is decreasing the local roads appropriation to 20.35 million. Line 1.12 is decreasing the local bridges appropriation to 20.317 million. Line 1.13 through 1.15 are language changes, I believe, to St. Louis Park Cedar Lake appropriation. Line 1.16 increases the Bruce Vento Trail to 5 million. Line 1.17 reduces the Rice Street revitalization appropriation to 1 million. Line 1.18 changes language to the Harriet Tubman Center appropriation. Line 1.19 updates the designee for the Northrop King building to art space. And the remainder of the appropriation, or of the amendment, is a new appropriation to Tending the Soil Minnesota for a $500,000 appropriation. And I'll just turn it to Ms. James if there's anything on the language side of things that I missed.
She indicates there's nothing there to comment on in addition to what you've said. Senator Pappas moves the A74 amendment. Is there discussion? If not, all those in favor? Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Pappas, earlier you mentioned a $60 million deal. Is the A74 a reflection of that $60 million deal?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Pratt, the 60 million extra was already in the DE, and that's what Ms. Grunwald noted as she went through the spreadsheet. And I read off the names quickly before of what the 60 million went to.
Mr. Chair, I'll come
Senator
back
Pratt.
to it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Pappas, can you explain then the driver behind the A74? I didn't catch all the changes. I do know that we were making a decrease to the local bridge fund and an increase to the Bruce Vento Trail. We were taking a two-thirds decrease in a Lake Street renovation, and I didn't catch some of the others, and I'm kind of curious as to why,
Mr. Chairman,
what drove this?
yes, Mr. Chairman, Senator Pratt. So the changes, the slight reductions in, I think it's local roads and bridges, is so that we could fund the, what's the nursery called? It's called the Badura State Forest Nursery. It's in terrible shape and it needs to be replaced without also leaving money so that we could also do the fish hatchery work that the administration and the governor really wants to do. So in order to fund both of those very worthy projects, we took a little bit of money out of different places, including HEAPR for the University of Minnesota and local roads and bridges. The other, on line 117 for the Rice Street revitalization, the county had received grants for that, so they only needed $1 million, they need $3 million. And so the county requested we switch $1 million into the Vento Trail, so that would unlock the federal money to match that. Others were technical changes, and then with a little extra money, we were able to partially fund this Tending the Soil program that, again, does workforce development and job training, and includes housing, local project for the community, that community in, I can't remember if they're in South or North Minneapolis.
Senator Pappas moves the A74 amendment. On that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion prevails. I want to indicate before we take other amendments and so on that, that at about 8 o'clock, we're going to recess for about 20 minutes because I think, Senator Champion, you have to quickly close up your conference committee, and you say it's going to be a very brief meeting. So from about 8 till we hope 8:20, we're going to take a recess just so members can plan in advance if they want to take a time, grab dinner if they haven't or anything, but briefly. Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, you called the vote there kind of quick on me because I did have a question on the A74 amendment.
Apologies.
On why we were changing the fiscal agent from City of Minneapolis on line 119 to ArtSpace. Who is ArtSpace, and can you describe them?
Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, ArtSpace is the nonprofit that owns now the Northrop King Center and is in the process of remodeling it into a space for many different artists to use, and it was mistakenly ascribed to the City of Minneapolis. But it was supposed to be, the owner is ArtSpace, not the City of Minneapolis.
Senator Champion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have the A6, so I offer the A76 amendment.
Senator Champion has A76 amendment. And members, if people feel comfortable sharing their amendments a few minutes early, at least we can get them online quickly for those, and we can hand them out. If you want them handed out early, if not, we can wait till it happens, but it takes a delay a little bit between each one.
So, Mr. Chair, would you like for me to explain it?
Why don't you explain it while it's being distributed?
So, Mr. Chair, this amendment, if you go to page 8.27, there's some grants for tree planting. I am asking to use those resources for the Northside Economic Opportunities Network, which is an organization that deals in, making sure that entrepreneurs and others are able to grow and learn. And so they have this idea for a business incubator. They have funds for it, the majority. They're also asking for $6 million from the state, but this ask is for $3 million, which is the amount of money that's on line 8.27. It is also, if you think about it, it is a facilities for business to really provide. This facilities in the city will provide a reliable and affordable resources for food entrepreneurs and business owners. And so that is what this ask is for. And just so you know a little bit about NEON and others know about it because it's been around for quite some time, they've been building wealth for low to moderate income grassroots entrepreneurs since '06. And as I mentioned earlier, they need to raise, the cost is going to be 18.5, and they've raised a lot of that. And so their initial request again was for $6 million, but we will request the lower amount of $3 million, which is the allocation that's listed at 8.27. So I talked to the author about it, and it's my understanding that she'll see this as a friendly amendment.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Senator Champion. Of course, these local nonprofits who are providing incredible services to the community in terms of job training and supporting businesses, as Senator Champion knows from his committee, are really important. And so it's always hard in a bill as sparse as this one for the trade-offs of things we can fund and things we can't fund. And, Senator Champion would like to have more money than this. And I'm amazed how these local groups are able to raise so much private money with just a little help from the state. So, yeah, I will accept this amendment.
I'm going to ask first, Senator Westrom, have you had access to the amendment yet?
Mr. Chair, I'm good. Just talked to Mr. Nauman, but I did have a comment on this,
Go ahead,
if I can make it.
please do.
But, Mr. Chair, Senator Pappas, you just, if I heard you right, you said you accepted this amendment?
Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
And so my comment, and I guess I'll still make it just for the benefit of either Senator Champion or you, Senator Pappas, last year in the LCCMR bill, we did fund a big chunk of money to the DNR for some tree planting and their tree fund. They do seem to get a lot of money for this, but there is another very capable, ample source of funding, and probably more than one, but the LCCMR would be another place to be looking at, because this is certainly right up the alley of enhancing and improving the environment as you look for options. So if we took this money to something else, I'm not as familiar with Senator Champion's proposal or project or group, but if it's a worthy one, there probably is another source for some tree planting money, which we put a chunk in last year through the LCCMR as well. So just for that information, and I was going to comment on that because I thought that might be a more appropriate fund to go take tree planting out of than the cash if we're looking for other infrastructure projects.
Mr. Chairman and Senator Westrom, thank you so much, because we do love the tree planting. As I told you, we thought we had a great deal of discussion with the administration about funding the tree nursery. We think that's a really important project. You know, trees, having more trees are really important to the environment. We do have a plan to provide more trees on the Capitol Mall even, so that we have more shade there and lots more birds, I hope. So it is a disappointment to me to not have the tree planting grants, but we do still have state forest reforestation funded at a small amount, so we're still supporting the trees. Oh, and Mr. Chairman, Ms. James has some technical changes she would like to make to this amendment.
Ms. James, go ahead, please.
Mr. Chair and members, there's just some extraneous language that we didn't get rid of when we converted this into a rider. So the changes would be on line 1.8, delete everything after 3 million, delete line 1.9. On line 1.10, delete everything before the word for. On line 1.20, delete everything after the period. On line 1.21, delete line 1.21 through 1.23.
Mr. Chairman, I would make that motion.
Senator Pappas moved, so it would read on line 8, 3 million for a grant, continuing on there, and then it would cut everything after the word business is on line 120.
That's correct.
On that motion,
Well,
Senator
Mr. Chair,
Draheim,
wouldn't that be an amendment to the amendment?
Senator Pappas, she was incorporating that. That's what I understood. Oh, it's Senator Champion's amendment. Are you willing to incorporate that?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
The technical change he wants to incorporate. Okay, Senator Draheim.
So it's still a one-time appropriation was just removed from the, thank you.
Further discussion on the Champion amendment? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion prevails. Do we have time for one more amendment before we recess at 8 o'clock? Who's got something? Senator Pratt.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I would like to offer the A60 amendment.
Sir Pratt offers the A60 amendment. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even have a copy of it. That's okay.
Mr. Chairman, well,
Senator Pratt, you want to speak to the amendment briefly? Is it now distributed to everyone?
yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Senator Pratt.
Thank you. Mr. Chair and members, the A60 amendment is a full subtraction of the Social Security income tax. Mr. Chair, Senate Republicans have been trying to work on a deal for a bonding bill going on months now. And we've always been willing to put up our votes, but we wanted to make sure that Minnesotans, and particularly senior citizens, saw a benefit from the surplus. It is one of only 11 states now that taxes Social Security income and Social Security benefits, effectively a double tax on these monies. They were taken out of people's paychecks when they earned them, and now they're being taxed on it when they receive it. Now, we can get into what's in the tax bill, and I get that, and I don't want to go there. I just want to be able to say, Mr. Chair, that this would provide the money necessary to fully repeal the Social Security tax for all Minnesota seniors. And this was something that we tried to work with the majority. I believe it was not really ever communicated for a long time whether or not this was was acceptable, while Senator Pappas was talking about an all-cash bill. So this was something that before the bonding bill came to the Senate floor, we had proposed, and it's something that Minnesota seniors want and expect from us this year. I can tell you, members, when I was out at the doors, this was the number one issue that I heard. And I have a lot of seniors in my area. I have a lot of seniors that have lived in my communities for 50, 60 years. And they are really struggling because property taxes are going through the roof. We are one of the fastest growing counties in the state and one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, and our land prices and our assessed prices are forcing seniors out of their homes. And if we can just provide this one small benefit to them, just one small benefit to say we will no longer be one of 11 states that's taxing your Social Security income, and hopefully keep those seniors here. Now, I'm not saying that Social Security is the only thing driving seniors out of this state. But, Mr. Chair, I can tell you, I've talked to a lot of seniors who are telling me this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. We've been losing a tremendous amount of wealth, of taxable wealth in this state. And it's been moving out, and it's been migrating out. And there's been a lot of discussion out there in the news and on social media about the wealth that's being lost. And it's imperative on us to make sure that we try to keep these senior citizens in our state, because they do so much. They're volunteering at our food shelves. They're volunteering at our nonprofits. They're volunteering in our schools. And we're driving them away. So, Mr. Chair, you know, this was part of the deal that we had offered at the outset. Senator Housley and Senator Johnson and Senator Weber presented as an outline, and we think it's still a workable solution for the people of Minnesota. And, Mr. Chair, I request a roll call vote with the results of the roll printed in the journal.
Senator Pratt asked for a roll call and asked for the vote to be tallied in the journal, and there are enough hands for that. One comment about it, and that is obviously we have no germaneness ruling in committee, though this isn't wouldn't be germane to the bill if it was. But Senator Pratt, I understand and I've heard your support for this in the past, and as you do know, the Tax Committee is working on its bill, has a thing that would eliminate most seniors from paying any Social Security taxes at all. Anyhow, I understand your point here, and I think we've discussed it thoroughly, but Senator Pappas, your comments on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, I oppose the amendment.
Is there any further discussion? If Senator Dames.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I do find this interesting, and I know, like you said, it probably wouldn't be germane, but I find it interesting. Last year's election, probably everybody at this table talked about how they were going to get rid of Social Security in its entirety. And then that's not happening, and we heard comments like, well, most of them now won't have to pay it. Amazing how things change when people are out knocking on doors and looking people in the eye, what they tell them to get elected and what they do, but I'll leave it at that.
On the Pratt Amendment A60, staff will take the roll.
Chair Marty?
No?
Senator Friends?
No.
Senator Pratt?
Yes.
Senator Champion?
No.
Senator Dames?
Yes.
Senator Draheim?
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn?
Yes.
Senator Mohammed?
No.
Senator Murphy?
Nope.
Senator Pappas?
No.
Senator Westrom?
Yes.
Senator Wickland?
She's on, but did not respond to it.
Mr. Chair, you said Senator Wickland was on.
She's on the Zoom, but she's not responding. She's in another meeting, I assume. So there being 5 ayes and 6 nays, the motion does not prevail. And before we get to other amendments, it's 8 o'clock now, and some of our members had to go to a conference committee, so I'm going to call a brief recess, I believe, based on what they're expecting, about 20 minutes. So with that, we will recess until the call of the chair in about 20 minutes. We're in the middle of House File 670, and I think there are a number of amendments to be offered, so we will proceed with them in the order that people offer them.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer the A64 amendment.
Senator Pratt offers the A64 amendment, which will be distributed. These amendments are getting distributed. Senator Pratt, on the amendment.
Mr. Chair, I actually don't have a copy of the amendment yet. Thank you. You're welcome. I think I know it, but, Mr. Chair, earlier in the session, well, going back to last session, we were still building this historic surplus, and, you know, Senate Republicans had hoped that we could do some real tax cuts in order to not collect the money and to keep the growth of the surplus under control. And regretfully, we didn't get it done. I don't want to get into the political battle, and I hope we don't get into the political battle about pointing fingers on who's who. I think we have differing recollections on what happened last session, but nonetheless, one of the things that I find interesting is that now that we have the money in the Treasury and we're expected to continue to grow, we can afford to give larger rebates than what we've offered so far. I think it's interesting that as we've talked about the bonding bill, that it was mentioned on the Senate floor, if we'd have passed the bonding bill, there'd be more money for tax relief. Well, as I understand it, and Mr. Nauman, correct me if I'm wrong, we have about $2.7 billion left on the bottom line.
Mr. Nauman.
Mr. Chair and Senator Pratt, as of today and before this bill, I have 2.687.
2.68. I was close. Rounds to 2.7. So that's fiscal 24-25. So, Mr. Chair, this would give Minnesotans a meaningful break. $552 for an individual and $898 for a married. This is, and Mr. Chair, while I would say that we could do this and get the votes for a bonding bill, we also technically could do this and have the cash for the cash bill as well. And there's no reason that we can't give a meaningful rebate, not $200, $500 and almost $900 to Minnesota families that have been overtaxed for way too long, Minnesota families that are struggling with inflation rates we haven't seen in 40 years. Minnesota families who are going to the store and seeing groceries up 30-40% from what they were a year ago in some items. Minnesota families deserve a break, Mr. Chair. Minnesota families deserve a break. And this would be one way for us to provide them that break. And we still have enough money to do capital investment. And with something like this, we could get a robust bonding bill done as well. So, Mr. Chair, I request a roll call, and the results of the roll call be printed in the journal.
Senator Pratt moves Senate File 64, asks for a roll call and that it be printed in the journal, so it will be. On that motion, Senator Pappas.
I oppose the amendment.
And I know Senator Rest is working on some one-time tax payments for rebates for people in her bill. On the.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Closing comment before we
You may.
vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, you know, this is, I know Senator Pappas is not really talking about it, and I know that Senator Rest is working hard on the tax bill, and they've got their own problems. I'll say again that Senate Republicans have always been supportive of a capital investment bill, have always been supportive of a bonding bill. And the question is, how can we work together, collaborate, find a win-win situation for both caucuses in this process? It's not as if we've been standing there with our arms folded. We've been making legitimate offers to the majority to move a bonding bill forward with just a little something for Minnesota families, just a little something. And, you know, it's been frustrating from where I sit as both a member of finance and a member of capital investment to see that we've really struggled to make that compromise that we talked about, that bipartisanship we talked about on the first day of session. This is the one bill that requires a bipartisan vote, and it's been the hardest one to get that agreement to, because there just hasn't been that will to reach across the aisle. We've made several offers, and I think this is one that if we were to put this on tonight, you know, I'd lay the bill on the table and let Senator Pappas and Senator Housley go at it and come back with a bonding bill that we could take up tomorrow morning. I think we're ready to do it. We just need the will. You know, the one thing I notice about this session is we seem to be locked into this I win, you lose mentality. Mr. Chair, this is a win for Senate Democrats. It's a win for Senate Republicans. But more importantly, Mr. Chair, it's a win for Minnesota families. I request a yes vote.
On the A64 amendment, staff will take the roll.
Chair Marty,
No.
Senator Friends,
No.
Senator Pratt,
Yes.
Senator Champion,
No.
Senator Dames,
Yes.
Senator Draheim,
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn,
Yes.
Senator Mohammed,
No.
Senator Murphy,
No.
Senator Pappas,
No.
Senator Westrom, Senator Wickland,
No.
There being 5 yes and 7 no votes, the motion does not prevail. Next,
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer the A63 amendment.
Senator Pratt offers the A63 amendment.
I don't. I got it. Who doesn't have?
Senator Pratt, you can go ahead if you wish. It's not fully distributed. It's in the process of being.
Well, Mr. Chair, we couldn't get the 1.3 billion passed. It's a shame. Minnesota families could really use the money. Mr. Chair, this is a proposal for 800 million in one-time tax rebates. 325, additional 328 for an individual, and additional 633 for a married couple. It's not as meaningful as the A64, but it's more meaningful. And Mr. Chair, this was the proposal that Senator Johnson proposed to Senator Dietzick a couple of days ago, trying to find that win-win-win, the win for Democrats, the win for Republicans, and the win for Minnesota families. And Senate Republicans have been working hard to really find this bipartisan support. Because there's a lot of projects that were in the original bonding and cash bill that were needed for our communities. And it's been frustrating sitting on the Capital Investment Committee to see on the day of the bonding bill vote, Republican authors told their bills had been canceled while their testifiers were driving down. To have weeks of Democrat bills coming before us. And I'll admit there were, and I appreciate Senator Pappas, I think towards the end doing a little bit more on a bipartisan basis, but the cash bill in front of us right now is an extremely partisan bill. And again, we talked about on the first day of session, working together, finding bipartisan support where we could. So, Mr. Chair, this reflects the last offer made by Senator Johnson to Senator Dietzick. We'd like to bring it in front because we can afford a robust bonding bill, a robust cash bill, and we can provide relief to Minnesota families. And I urge a yes vote and roll call with the results of the roll being printed in the journal.
Senator Pratt requests a roll call and the results being printed in the journal. Senator Pappas?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I believe this is close to, if not already, what's something that's in the tax bill, so it's really inappropriate to add it here. Please vote no.
On the motion, staff will take the roll.
Chair Marty?
No?
Senator Friends?
No.
Senator Pratt?
Yes.
Senator Champion?
No.
Senator Dames? Yes. Senator Draheim?
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn? Yes. Senator Mohammed?
No.
Senator Murphy?
No.
Senator Pappas?
No.
Senator Westrom? Yes. Senator Wickland?
No.
There being 5 yes votes and 7 no votes, the motion does not prevail. Senator Dames. Senator Dames offers the A75 amendment. Senator James, you're welcome to begin. It's being distributed right now.
So the A75 amendment would put a $500 million appropriation, one-time money. Thank you. And then the A17 to do that. And this money would be a one-time money for nursing homes to help with their issues that they have. And I would ask that this bill, I would ask Senator Pappas to treat this as a friendly amendment. And you could give Senator Pappas, that's okay. And that we have a roll call vote and put it in the journal.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much, Senator Dames, for allowing me to giggle. There was an offer on the table to the Republican caucus for not quite 500, but $200 million in nursing homes, but that was not acceptable enough. So the offer fell apart. So I urge you to vote no.
Senator Dames, your microphone is not on right now, Senator Dames. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pappas. As far as the offers, they've been going back and forth, and there's a lot more reasons than what's being stated as to why they have not been accepted or have been. So with that said, I'll leave that at that. But the really point is here is it's not a he said, she said. It's not going to be an argument of who turned down the last offer and who did this and who did that. This is about the seniors in the state of Minnesota. And the reason I wanted it in the journal is I want the journal to reflect who stood out, who's trying to help the seniors. We've had a lot of different bills, a lot of different amendments that we've done over on the floor, trying to get some help for the seniors, and it seems to be just about impossible. And I know what's going through. I've got nursing homes in my district that have had to close, and I know what's happening out there. And it's time we stand up for our seniors. A lot of those folks can stand up to help themselves, but we need to be here to do that. So with that said, I'd certainly encourage a green vote.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I encourage members to vote in favor of the Dames amendment. Senator Pappas, I don't know that the offer was rejected as much as the offer was coming back from your caucus was changed after it was made to our, back to our leadership and changed significantly. But I will say, and I've mentioned this before, I serve as a volunteer director on a board of directors for a local nursing home. And we're hurting, we're struggling. The cost of labor is going up. Reimbursement rates aren't keeping up. We're taxing our seniors for Social Security. We couldn't get that passed. We just hit our nursing homes, passed off the Senate floor, a huge, huge payroll tax increase that affects the homes and the people who work in them. Today in the jobs and labor bill, we had the forced sick time. And as we discussed here, we work really hard to treat our employees well. We work with them to make sure that they have the time off they need to care for their families and care for themselves. But the mandate and the burden is putting a financial strain on us. Now it's been said, well, we're just going to help them. No, you're not helping us. We've been building a benefit set that differentiates us from all the other people. We talk about how we're losing people to McDonald's and Burger King, but we're also losing them not just to your Targets and your fast food places, but we're losing them to the hospital, and we're losing them to other types of health care. And it's making it really hard, Senator Pappas. It's making it really hard. I see the numbers. We have to have like a 92 or 94% occupancy rate to break even or maybe make a little bit of money. And that's before the new mandates that are being put on by this session. You're breaking our backs. So let's give our nursing homes $500,000 or $500 million on a one-time basis that I believe lasts several years. And let's at least give them some temporary relief until we can figure out how to fix this problem long-term. Because I've got my other fellow volunteer board directors looking at me saying, Eric, how are we going to keep up with this? We can't. I see the financials every quarter. We're hurting our seniors. We're hurting the people who care for our seniors. And we're driving the facilities out of business that make it all work. So let's support the Dames Amendment, and let's do something here on a bipartisan basis tonight. Mr. Chair, I encourage a yes vote.
On the A75 amendment, the staff will take the roll.
Chair Marty,
No?
Senator Prince,
No.
Senator Pratt,
Yes.
Senator Champion,
No.
Senator Dames,
Yes.
Senator Draheim,
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn, Senator Mohammed,
No.
Senator Murphy,
Nope.
Senator Pappas,
No.
Senator Westrom, Senator Wickland.
No.
There being 5 ayes and 7 nays, motion does not prevail. Next amendment.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd offer the A21 amendment.
Senator Pratt offers the A21 amendment. It's being distributed. You can begin if you want, Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, it's kind of a sad night. We tried to give senior citizens a tax break tonight, and it failed on a party line vote. We tried to give Minnesota families a little bit of relief one time through a tax rebate, 2 different versions. It failed on a party line vote. We tried to help our senior citizens with $500 million, and it failed on a party line vote. The Senate Democrats voted down Social Security tax rebate or relief, 2 offers of a rebate, and helping nursing homes, which would have all helped us get to a bipartisan agreement on a bonding bill. One of the biggest and most important aspects of a bonding bill, Mr. Chair, is that we take care of the infrastructure within the state of Minnesota. One of the reasons I wanted to get on this committee was because we have a lot of infrastructure needs. We've been told time and time again what in poor condition our roads are in and how our bridges are deficient. And last year, during the bonding tour, and Senator Pappas was on the bonding tour, we stopped at Highway 65 in Blaine, Minnesota's 9th largest city. We have 7.5 million visitors to the sports arena, the National Sports Center. My son used to play soccer up there, and that holds the Schwann's Cup. We get kids from all over the world coming there. Fantastic hockey facilities. We now have the 3M open at the TPC there. Highway 65 in Blaine has 60,000 vehicles a day. That's more than 35W in Blaine, but with the stoplights every half mile, peak travel times are 40 minutes from County Road 10 to Bunker Lake Boulevard. That's a 6.8 mile stretch, 40 minutes. It's a safety issue. There have been 1,900 crashes in the last 5 years in a mere 2.5 mile stretch on Highway 65 in Blaine, resulting in 400 injuries. Vehicle crashes in that area are 8 times the state average. The Blaine Police Department averages 10 calls per day to Highway 65. That's over 3,600 calls a year. So this $130 million on a very important, very busy, very unsafe stretch of road will get rid of stoplights at 4 intersections, replacing them with grade separation intersections and will greatly reduce the crashes and improve public safety. It will help with pedestrian traffic. We've talked about multimodal movement. There's no safe pedestrian crossing at Highway 65 today. And if you want to talk about greenhouse gases, Mr. Chair, the 60,000 cars per day on that stretch sitting there idling at these stoplights are contributing a significant amount to the greenhouse gases. Mr. Chair, this is the studies are complete, the design work is done. This is a shovel-ready project, and Mr. Chair, I request a green vote, or yes vote, on the A21.
And you want a roll call as well, Senator Pratt?
No.
Okay. On the 821, Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I recognize this is a dangerous area, but we have a limited budget here, a limited target. But we do have $9 million to construct the intersection at 105th Street. So we're making some progress. So I don't have the money to do this, so I'd have to say vote no.
On the A20.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I recall, Mr. Nauman said that before this bill and after today, we had $2.68 billion sitting on the bottom line. I think we could find $130 million to do this project, Mr. Chair. I request a yes vote.
On the A21 amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to offer the A22 amendment.
Senator Pratt offers the A22 amendment.
I got it, thanks. Yeah.
Senator Pratt, I think it's largely distributed. If you want to go ahead, you're welcome to.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, this is a much smaller project, $450,000 for the Hennepin County Railroad crossing. Tri-Highway funds will be used for the design and engineering to construct a railroad crossing, safety improvements at Town Line Road in the city of Medina and the city of Independence. This was in last year's capital investment bill, and this project will help significantly with public safety in Senator Limmer's district. Mr. Chair, it includes flashing gates and a 4-quadrant gate system that will be installed to improve a safe crossing at this area, and it adds supplemental safety measures mandated by the FRA and will implement and be implemented as part of a quiet zone. I can tell you many of our cities, as the trains are still rolling through late at night, early in the morning, are having to blow their whistles through town because we don't have safe crossings. So I guess 130 million was too much, but Mr. Chair, this is 450,000. And I think this would be something that we could easily fit into the bill, and I request a yes vote.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Pratt. You know, if we had a different situation, this is probably something we could do, but there was no bill last year, remember, and I don't remember if this was in the previous 669. So Senator Limmer does have some money in here for Maple Grove, so we have funded something for him, but we can't fund this, so I vote no.
On the A22 amendment, Senator Draheim.
Thank you. And, you know, I look at the list, and I'm sure, Senator Pappas, it's really hard to pick what projects go and what don't. But, you know, when I look at the list of projects, After clean water, safety comes first. And a railroad crossing for under $500,000 and you can't find the funding. And then I look at the list and I see a whole bunch of projects, and I don't want to name out specific projects, that won't save lives. And they're nice, I'm sure, for the neighborhood they're in. Different museums, music, arts. But this is a public safety railroad crossing for only $450,000, and we can't find funding for that? And that is not a priority for the majority? I'm disheartened by that.
Mr. Chairman, it was part of our package. Staff informs me that we had earlier in session that the Republican caucus rejected.
Is there further discussion on the A22 amendment?
Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry, Senator Pappas, can you repeat that, please?
My staff just texted me and said it was in 670 earlier in session. We had the 669 and the 670 package. But when your caucus rejected the 669, that was part of the package, then we didn't offer the 670. So this was in that bill. But I only have 1.3 now, I don't have 1.9, so I can't fit all these projects.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Senator Pappas, we've made a number of offers to try to get 669 and 670 moving along, and your caucus has rejected every offer that we've made. And on one that I thought was probably going to fly, you pulled back after the offer was made. You pulled back some very key parts of that. So we can sit here and we can point fingers at each other, Senator Pappas, but we've been trying all session to try to get a bipartisan agreement. And we knew prior to going to the floor that there weren't the votes there to pass the bill, but the majority decided to push it forward rather than working with Senate Republicans. And now here we are finger pointing again. And I think it's beneath us, Senator Pappas. I really do. Now, I mentioned that we made offers and we had a good discussion through the Social Security and that, but you know, I'm really getting frustrated with the fact that at every attempt to try to find a win-win-win, we've either not heard from the majority caucus or an offer's been made and then rolled back and made worse. I think Senator Drahan brings up a good point. This is a really inexpensive project. And I don't know, Senator Pappas, how you decided what went into bonding and what went into cash. I have an idea. I could look at the numbers and I have an idea of how that decision was made, but it's clear that we're here today because there's been an unwillingness to meet Senate Republicans halfway along the way. I mean, we talked about Social Security elimination. That was rejected. We talked about rebates. That was rejected. We lowered the rebates. That was rejected. We're just looking to meet halfway because this should be a bipartisan bill. It's designed in the Constitution to be a bipartisan bill, and only by the fact that we have a record surplus are we sitting here today. And regretfully, it's the choices that are being made to do a cash bill and take money out of nursing homes, take money out of Minnesota families' pockets, instead of finding a bipartisan solution that gets a bonding bill done. It's a really sad day in this chamber that we're sitting here doing this, and we're fighting over $450,000 to make a railroad crossing safer for a community. I'm amazed that we're having these types of petty arguments here tonight. This should be an easy one, members. Let's vote yes.
On the A22 amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion does not prevail. Next amendment.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll do the A25 amendment.
Senator Pratt offers the A25 amendment.
Yeah. I think so, yep.
Senator Pratt, it's still being distributed, but you can go ahead if you wish.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, one of the most important roads that we have in the state of Minnesota is Highway 169. It carries about 50% of our agricultural product at some point in time, and there are hundreds of thousands of jobs along that corridor. And this appropriates $12.3 million for a portion that is some of the most heavily used non-interstate highway corridor in Hennepin County. It goes through Maple Grove, which features one of the largest gravel mining areas in the Twin Cities. And with $12.3 million, we will have safer traffic for Minnesota families in this area while providing a reliable alternate route to I-94 during congested periods. And Mr. Chair, this 12.3, we're talking about multimodal, will include accommodations for bicyclists and pedestrians to provide a safe connection over 169. So, Mr. Chair, I request a yes vote.
Senator Pratt moves the A25 amendment. Sir Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, I oppose the amendment.
Further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to offer the A73 amendment.
Senator Pratt moves the A73 amendment.
No. Well, I do online. Thanks.
Senator Pratt, it's still being distributed, but you can go ahead if you wish.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, when we were on the bonding tour last year, we stopped off in Jordan, Minnesota, and we saw a number of areas where traffic is moving at a high rate of speed. There's a significant amount of commercial truck traffic, and we're in an area where we have the last stoplight between Cambridge and St. Peter on 169. Last September, there was a devastating accident at that area. And we stopped off at, Senator Pappas, you might remember, we stopped off at By the Yard. And remember how long it took the bus to make that left turn? Because there's no platooning. We made the fixes at 169 and County Road 41 going into Chaska, and it becomes County Road 68 in Scott County going to the east into Shakopee. And it's extremely dangerous for residents and the commercial truck traffic there. So, Mr. Chair, this would provide some of the money needed to help resolve that area on 169, and I request a yes vote.
On the A73, Senator Pappas.
I oppose the amendment.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I was hoping this one, as a member of the committee and having worked on this for 10 years, and had it been part of the bonding tour, that it would have maybe been a little bit more warmly received. But I guess for the members that sat through hours of projects, who really wanted to see a bonding bill get done, a capital investment, bipartisan capital investment bill get done that helped both Republican and Democratic districts, that this was something we could get through. But, Mr. Chair, I still request a yes vote.
On the A73 amendment, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say, Senator Pratt, on line 47 of the spreadsheet, City of Shakopee Riverbank Stabilization, this, I believe, was brought to us by your House member. And, you know, if we were in just a little bit more of a cooperative situation, you could have decided, is this what you want? Is this the most important, or is the road project more important, or to kind of split them? So, you know, I'm really sorry we've gotten to this point.
Well, Senator Pappas, I am too.
Further amendments? Mr. Chair. Senator Eichhorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have the A55 amendment, and I can start talking about it if you want while it's distributed.
Sure, you might as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The A55 amendment will appropriate $150 million for the Highway 169 expansion, which we call the Cross Range Expressway. It's an area of road basically between Grand Rapids and Virginia that covers the entire Iron Range area. The 169 project has been in the works for over 50 years. And originally there was a deal struck to actually have 35 go through Hibbing rather than Duluth. So at the time there was a compromise that this Cross Range Expressway would ultimately eventually be completed. The section of the road that's looking to finally be completed and complete that entire section of 4-lane is actually in Senator Farnsworth's district. But this is a project that's important not only to Senator Farnsworth, but also myself, to Senator Housechild. This is a project that's looked at by the entire region as something that's extremely important, and probably important to Senator Champion as well, because when he comes up to one of our IRRR meetings, he most likely will end up on Highway 169 on the Cross Range Expressway at some point. Another reason it's important is this was kind of a legacy project for Senator Tomassoni. That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this forward today and just highlight it. It's something he really wanted to get done, and something that we hope when the project is completely done at whatever date and time it may be, hopefully we can name that section of road after him at some point. We'd like to see it be the David Tomassoni Cross Range Expressway. So would love to have your favorable support on it. Not for me, not for Farnsworth, not for Housechild. For our good friend Senator Tomassoni, who many of us on this committee served with. So I bring this in his memory.
Thank you very much, Senator Eichhorn, and I appreciate the thoughts. I just don't have this kind of money in the target that I was given it's a cash bill, so I have to reject it.
Further discussion of the A55 amendment, sorry.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Eichhorn, did you say that this was going to be named after Senator Tomassoni?
Mr. Chair, Senator Pratt, not currently, but that would be the intention, that when the project is fully completed that we can name it after him. I would certainly accept that as an amendment now, but being that most of the highway is in Senator Farnsworth's district, that would be something I would want to leave to him. I wouldn't want to step on his toes, so to speak, and Senator Farnsworth covers the territory that Senator Tomassoni formerly carried, but that's kind of been the discussion of some of the range delegation, that ultimately when that is finally completed, we would love to see that be named such.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Senator Eichhorn, I couldn't agree with you more. I think, you know, as a thought of what we're talking about tonight, you know, I can't think of anybody who could reach across the aisle any better than Senator Tomassoni. We used to make fun of him because it seemed like he had something in every bill. And, you know, we think about him often and we miss him often, and I would hope that this is something that we could get passed into this bill tonight so that we could honor our former president in a way that's befitting to him.
Further discussion on A55? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer the A47 amendment.
Senator Pratt offers A47 amendment.
And Mr. Chair, while the A47 amendment's being handed out, this is for a project for local roads in Forest Lake. And since we're fortunate enough to have Senator Housley sitting here, I was wondering if we could maybe break protocol a little bit and allow Senator Housley just to talk about this project.
We don't normally do that. How about for 1 minute, she can speak to it briefly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be under 1 minute, I promise. There is a road just east of Highway 35 going north called Eureka Avenue between Highway 35 and this Clear Lake. And many people park along Eureka Avenue to go fish in Clear Lake. And the road is very, very narrow, and there are people constantly walking on it. And again, it's so narrow that there have been some pretty close calls along this road. And they also need improvements for design, construction, and repair, and installation of water, sewer, and storm utilities right along this section of the road. And they also want to do some restoration to the shoreline. So that is what the $4.5 million is for. And thank you for letting me get this minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion of A73? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Couldn't find it fast enough.
Senator Eichhorn.
Sure there's something in there,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have the A42 amendment. Yeah, 42.
42 amendment. Senator Eichhorn offers A42 amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The A42 amendment would appropriate $2,500,000 to the City of Grand Rapids for their water treatment plant. The plant is in great need of renovation. It was included in the other bill previously, and as we know, every community in this state needs good, clean drinking water, and the City of Grand Rapids is at the point where they need to upgrade their drinking water facility. And this is an important one for me, not only because all of the residents of the City of Grand Rapids, but I live in the City of Grand Rapids and my kids drink this water. So of course I want extra good water for them. So that's simply what this bill does, is appropriate that money for the City of Grand Rapids.
Further discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and
Senator Pappas.
I think clean water is very important, but I don't have enough money in my target for this, so vote no.
On the A42
Mr.
amendment.
Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, we heard a lot of water projects this year. We saw a lot on the bonding tour. Senator Pappas, if I recall, there was more allocated to water projects prior to the A17 amendment. Can you or Ms. Grunwald-Noldner discuss what those changes were?
Mr. Chair and members, 1 moment. I believe in the May 12th version of the spreadsheet, the water treatment line, excuse me, trying to find it quick. I believe it was 11.25 million each for clean water and wastewater, and the amended version of the bill now carries it at 11 million each.
669.
Senator Pratt, no further comment, okay.
No further questions, Mr. Chair.
No further discussion on the A42 amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
No.
Motion does not prevail. Next amendment.
Mr. Chair. You want me to go? Whatever. I guess I'll go, Mr. Chair. I got two more. I've got the A24.
A24 amendment, Senator Icorn offers.
The A24 amendment, similar to the previous one, this is for the city of Ironton, will appropriate $2,400,000 for them to pre-design, design, engineer, and construct and equip their water treatment facility. The city of Ironton, unlike the city of Grand Rapids, is considerably smaller, and as folks on this committee are well aware, small communities oftentimes have much greater challenges in having the funds to be able to do these type of projects and need it more than some of our larger cities do. So the city of Ironton has asked us to bring this forward. They desperately need this funding. They need state funding, and being a smaller community that doesn't have the tax base that some of our larger cities has, they really need our help. So with that, I offer the A24.
On the A24, Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are communities all over the state that need this funding, but we need to be able to have a bonding bill in order to do it. So sorry, Senator Icorn, I have to say no.
On the A24, further discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion does not prevail. Next amendment, Senator Dames.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I have the A72 amendment, and I do not have a copy, so the copy is being handed out. Mr. Chair, is it allowable to have the director, Mr. Freeman, if he's here, come forward for some questions?
Very, very briefly, we've got lots of amendments. Go ahead. Senator Dames, first explain the amendment, maybe, and then he's coming forward.
What this amendment does, under the PFA, we have 11 million for clean water and another 11 million, and those two together is about 22 million. And there's some new language in the newest version of the bill here, which would require that 50% of that be spent in cities for grants over 20,000 people. And from what I'm hearing, there's very few cities that will qualify for that, and very likely that money may go unspent. And I think this is the first time that we've done that. And so I just wanted to find out from Mr. Freeman if we've done this before and what your thoughts are as far as the where the better place to put the money is.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, for the record, Jeff Freeman, the Executive Director of the Public Facilities Authority. This language is attached to the WIF grant program. The WIF grant program provides grants to help cities build projects to replace aging infrastructure that would otherwise be unaffordable. Without those funds, cities would be at increased risk of major system failure. Affordability is the largest factor in affordability is the size of the community and the number of users to support the costs of the project. I am not aware at this point of a WIF eligible project for a city over 20,000. So this language is problematic in that it would reserve 50% of the funds for projects that I'm not sure exist under the eligibility criteria.
Mr. Chair, if I could ask Mr. Freeman one more question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Freeman, as you've noticed, the amount of dollars we're putting into this bonding bill is drastically reduced from what we usually put in. Can you give us some idea what kind of an impact that's going to have going from typically 100+ million down to 22 million?
Mr. Chair, Representative Dame, or Senator Dames, the amount of money, there are significantly more projects that have been approved, are basically ready projects for construction that beyond the funding in this bill. So there are many projects that will have to wait for some additional funding.
Thank you.
Senator James.
I think Senator Pratt has a.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Freeman, I was struck by a comment, maybe you could clarify. Did I understand you correctly that as the language is drafted today, there would be money allocated for where there are no projects requested? And could you clarify that comment, please?
Mr. Chair, Senator Pratt, and of course, we have new applicants all the time. The primary source of funding is the PFA's low-interest revolving loan funds. All of the loan applications are reviewed for to see if they meet the affordability criteria under the WIF grant program. At this point, I'm not aware of any projects on the priority list that for cities over 20,000 that would meet those WIF eligibility criteria.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Pappas, can you help me understand where this language in the bill came from?
Mr. Chairman and Senator, was negotiated with the House Chair. We don't, but I share his concerns that we have huge earmarks in here for wastewater and clean water projects, and cities like Owatonna, Austin, and Mankato can't get WIF money, and so they come to us for earmarks. And we would like to get to a situation where we're back to giving the PFA $80 million, huge amounts, but we don't understand, and I think Mr. Freeman could talk to me offline as to why these communities can't get WIF money under the current rules. I mean, 20,000 is not that much. There are a lot of cities around over 20,000 that also have clean water and wastewater issues.
Senator Draheim.
Thank you. I'm almost appalled with the comments you just made about communities of 20,000 and not understanding. I have a community of 325 that you did give a hearing on. I give you credit for that. 325 people, and they got taken by a crooked contractor, had to pay double for the project, and you put no money in the account for it. And you come on here and you talk like you're funding clean water, and you're not, and you haven't. For the majority of the communities across the state.
Mr. Chairman,
no
Senator Draheim,
in this bill.
I funded those projects. I funded this program in 669. That's the bill that you rejected, and I resent you accusing me of not funding projects. I would love to fund those projects, but you got to vote for the damn bill.
Chair. Chair.
Let's talk respectfully to each other.
I appreciate that, Chair. Can I go?
Let's go ahead, Senator.
Oh, thank you. Senator Pappas, the 4 water projects I have in my 7-county district would have used up all the funding you put in your bill. And there are dozens and dozens and dozens of other projects for small communities all over the state. And yes, communities of 20,000 are important. But the difference between a community of 20,000 and a community of 325 is that communities of 20,000 have a little larger tax base than a community of 300. So I'm not going to offer my amendments on this, Chair, but it's disappointing that for the last 7 years, I had to listen to the Democrats, who are in control right now, tell me that our budget bills are our moral compass and set our priorities. And then I see this bonding bill and all the bonding bills this year. I never saw a bonding bill last year. Never saw one, because there wasn't one in the Senate. And you don't include clean water? I don't care what community it is. I have one community that has radium, which causes cancer, and that isn't funded. Then a railroad crossing for $450,000 and all these small town clean water projects. And I'm asking, is that your moral compass? Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Pappas,
I'll calm down and just say one thing, is that I can only bring a bill to the floor when I have the votes. And if you, Senator Draheim, and members of your caucus want a bill that prioritizes clean water like 669 did, then you have to vote for it. This is the bill I have that people will vote for.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Chair, I wanted to circle back to the comment that was made about the new language that was in the bill, and specifically to Senator Dames's amendment. I find it interesting, Mr. Chair, that Senator Pappas mentions that none of these regional centers can qualify for WIF money, and yet here we are with a significantly lower amount of money available to the communities that Senator Draheim just mentioned. No applications from the larger communities. We're going to go ahead and put in the language without funding it at historic levels. We're dropping the money, and we're increasing, or we're dropping the money a significant amount, and then we're taking half of it away from the small communities that rely on it so heavily. It feels like a little bit of a double gut punch to our small greater Minnesota communities. And so, Mr. Chair, I think we should take this language out now until Senator Pappas and Senate Democrats can come to an agreement where we can pass a full bonding bill and where we can fully fund it, as Senator Pappas said, in 669. Let's find the agreement.
Senator Friends.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members. First of all, Senator Pappas, thanks for your work. I know you had a lot of hearings, and I know you allowed a lot of projects to be heard. To my colleagues from across the aisle, we all know very well that what it takes to pass a bonding bill is a supermajority, and that the power of the minority party is to negotiate for that, to negotiate for projects, to try to come up with the leverage that you're provided in a chamber where otherwise you don't have the majority. We've been through this as members of the minority for the last 6 years, and it does give the minority the power to leverage projects in the bonding bill. That's what it gives you. What it doesn't give you is the power to dictate terms on things like taxes where your votes are not needed. And that's what the minority party in this case chose to do, and then went a step further and voted down the bonding bill that was put on the floor, which was very bipartisan. What Senator Pappas is saying is that having made that choice, members of the minority are now asking, well, can we have some other thing that we still don't need your votes for? And Senator Pappas' answer is, no, you cannot. We're moving forward with this bonding bill for the simple reason that Senator Pappas said, which is this is the bill we have the votes for. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Dames.
Well, before I get back to the amendment that I have, I just want to remind people we're getting some interesting information flying around here. In order to negotiate, you got to have people that are willing to negotiate. In order to compromise, you have to have people that are willing to compromise. Senator Frentz, I understand your comments. Senator Pappas, I understand your comments. I've heard that dog and pony show many a times. But I want to tell you something. If you're not willing to compromise, you're not going to get a bill. So if you want to sit at the desk there and chew us out because we didn't vote for a bill when we had the opportunity, you had the opportunity to compromise if you wanted a bill too. So with that said, I'm going to go back and talk about the amendment. What this amendment does is it deletes all of the information on page 62 on line 3 to 12 that takes out the sharing of the dollars. I think that we just heard that there's not much known use for that right now. We know there's a lot of use for that in a lot of these other communities under 20,000. So I would ask that you look at this look at this favorably and ask that people vote yes on this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, I oppose the amendment.
On the
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like a roll call with the results of the roll printed in the journal.
Senator Pratt asked for roll call. It'll be printed in the journal. Staff will take the roll. Mr. Chair. Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, given the temperature where we're at and just the comments that we've made, I thought maybe some more could be said, and maybe something more will lead to a last week breakthrough. Senator Frentz, I just want to take a little issue with your comment about a tax bill and you don't need minority vote, so that's not where our leverage is. And that's true if you just don't care a bit about anyone's opinion in the minority party, and that's what it sounded like. But there is a higher level that we all try to serve, and that's a statesman's position of, at some point, we look beyond our districts and across the entire state. And I just want to urge the Democrat majority to think about that. Because you didn't get a single Republican vote on your tax bill, and it eked its way out of here 34 to 33, as I recall. Eked its way out of here. Often chairs take pride in finding a way to get a sweet spot. I know you served on the Ag Committee, which I chaired for 6 years. We took pride in being a bipartisan committee. No, we didn't get every vote all the time, but we worked darn hard to try to find a way to work out some of those issues that were much closer to the middle and just not on our side of the ledger versus the other side of the ledger. And so I just want to encourage you, Senator Frentz, I know you're in leadership. Let's not look for the minimal amount we need to pass something, because then you exclude 33 of the 67 senators. You may not get 67, but you could sure get 40 or 50 or 60. And I think that's the goal that we ought to be striving for here. And I think the solution is there. Senator Dames' comments are pretty apropos. And Senator Frentz, I know you've done lots of mediations too, like me. And they aren't worth walking across the front door threshold into the mediation office if one party comes in and says, we've got all the leverage and we ain't gonna give. And that's what it's feeling like today. First thing I talk about with parties when I'm mediating is you're gonna have to give. You're gonna have to find some things you're gonna want now, but you're gonna walk out giving them up because a mediation is give and take by both parties. Political compromise is a lot of the same. I didn't intend to speak on this, but I think it's quite revealing tonight what we're seeing. And the minority is just being relegated to the back corner. We don't give a damn about minority votes if we've got the majority. And unfortunately, we've seen so many 34, 33 votes because there's not a will to try to figure out a sweet spot in the middle. And it's pretty obvious there's some pretty big areas for sweet spots, but you got to be willing to look for them, and you got to be willing to want them. So Senator Pappas, I'll say again, I think there is solutions just waiting around the corner. Everyone's just got to open their eyes a little bit further, and we can find something. But everyone's got to first take to heart and earnest what's been said and offers that have been made that are genuine, and realize 34 to 33 split is the narrowest the Senate can be, and it's the narrowest it's ever been in really modern history in Minnesota. And so I think a tax bill with 45 or 50 votes would be much more to brag about than one that ekes its way out 34 to 33. And I hope we can take that mentality and apply it to this bill and other things as well. I think we can all step back and learn. And we've got 7 days to do it. We can get it done. That's a lot of time.
On the Dames 72, A72 amendment, staff will take the roll.
Chair Morty,
No.
Senator Friends,
No.
Senator Pratt,
Yes.
Senator Champion,
No.
Senator Dames, Senator Draheim,
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn, Senator Mohammed,
Nope.
Senator Murphy,
No.
Senator Pappas,
No.
Senator Westrom,
Yes.
Senator Wickland, Senator Wickland,
There being 5 ayes and 6 nays, the motion does not prevail. Next amendment. Senator Dames,
I have the A32 amendment.
on the A32 amendment. You can go ahead, it's being
Thank you,
distributed now.
Mr. Chair. The A32 amendment relates to New Ulm, Minnesota, the gravity sewer flow and water system. We're requesting $4 million to be appropriated from the general fund of the Public Facilities Authority for a grant to the city of New Ulm to design, construct, and equip capital improvements necessary for the complete gravity flow sewer and water system, replacement of water mains and removal of lift station, replacement of impacted surface amenities. This was a bill that we had put in as a standalone bill, and the city of New Ulm could use the help, and I'd request a green vote or a yes vote.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would have been happy to do this, but I don't have enough money in the target.
Further discussion? If not, all those in favor on the A32 motion amendment say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Mr. Chair,
Senator Dames,
I have the A37 amendment.
A37 amendment. It's being distributed. You can go ahead.
The A7 amendment is for the city of Russell for water infrastructure and street reconstruction. They're requesting $4 million to be appropriated, and this will be used to design, engineer, and construct equipment to replace an aging and failing municipal infrastructure. The appropriation includes money for replacement of the water main, improvements and replacement to sanitary sewer system, and storm sewer infrastructures, lift stations, and reconstruction of the city streets. This is a very small community in southwest Minnesota. They have a very low tax base, and they're really counting on some help from the state in order to get this system they have updated, and I would appreciate a yes vote.
Further discussion on the A37. Not all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion does not prevail.
Mr. Chair, I have the A61 amendment.
Senator Dames offers A61 amendment. Go ahead, Senator Dames, if you wish.
The A61 amendment is for the city of Bellevue for drinking water infrastructure. They're requesting $1,750,000 to be appropriated to the general fund, from the general fund to public facilities PFA. And this is being used for updating the drinking water infrastructure and their drinking water infrastructure with their treatment station and things like that. Small community, low tax base. They have been working on this for a couple of years. They were very high. They are very high on the PFA list. However, with a little bit of funding that was given, they won't make this list. So we would like to see some help through the general fund, through the cash bonding bill. And I would request a yes vote.
On the
Mr. Chairman, I would love to fund these small communities, but my hands are tied.
On the A61 amendment for Bellevue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion does not prevail. Next. Any other amendments?
I think Senator Eichhorn might have had one. No. Okay.
No.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not going to offer another amendment. I'm just going to say that while there was an informational hearing held last Friday with 1 day's notice, and the significant changes that we saw in the A17 and the A74, it's clear to me, as a member, quite honestly, of the Capital Investment Committee, and Senator Pappas, I couldn't be a part of that informational hearing because I was stuck here in this committee at the same time. And it was, it was hard for me to evaluate these, but it really needs to go back to the Capital Investment Committee. That's the committee of jurisdiction. And there was no opportunity, as I understand it, because it was an informational hearing, there was no opportunity to make amendments. There was no opportunity, there was no vote as to whether the members that we've assigned to the House and Senate Capital Investment Committee agreed with this. Supposedly, part of the A17 was a $60 million deal that I still don't know what was part of that deal. Senator Pappas clicked off a number of projects, and I'm not sure how those got funded in such a tight budgetary amount. When we're told there's no money for some of these projects that are extremely worthy. $450,000 for a railroad crossing. $2.5 million to help Jordan.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Pratt, I can tell you how they got funded. With an extra $60 million, if you'd like to know, is the Speaker increased, Representative Erdahl appealed to the Speaker to fund these projects that we had to cut because we got squeezed in terms of our target, and she raised our target by $60 million to fund projects for Republicans in the House who voted for the bonding bill.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I haven't finished. So,
Sorry.
as I think through this, and I appreciate that, it feels a little bit like the Senate is taking its direction from the House. And quite honestly, Senator Pappas, as a member of your committee, I would like the ability not to do these amendments here, to do them in your committee. Let's have real votes. Let's pass it out of your committee. But we've not had that opportunity. This is the reason we have a capital investment committee. Now, we're going round and round about whether or not we should have passed a bonding bill, round and round whether or not we should have been found the will to negotiate, find a bipartisan solution. What we really need to do, Mr. Chair, is send this bill back to capital investment, because, Mr. Chair, I've got some additional questions that I think are really more appropriate for the Capital Investment Committee than the Bonding Committee, and so I move that we move Senate File 670 and refer it to the Capital Investment Committee.
Senator Pratt moves that we refer the House File 670 back to the Capital Investment Committee. Senator Pappas.
I oppose that motion.
Sorry, that would be as amended. Senator Pappas, Senator Pratt moves to send House File 670 as amended back to the Committee on Capital Investments. And I'm told some our members have asked to come back in here for the vote. I think, Senator Pratt, that this bill was, obviously it changes after it leaves the committee, and it's a continually changing thing, but on that, Senator Frantz, did you want a roll call on that?
Yes, may we have a roll call, please, Mr. Chair?
Staff will take a roll. This is the motion to send House File 670 back to the Capital Investment Committee.
Chair Marty?
No?
Senator Friends?
No.
Senator Pratt?
Yes.
Senator Champion?
No.
Senator Dames? Senator Draheim?
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn? Senator Mohammed?
No.
Senator Murphy?
Nope.
Senator Pappas?
No.
Senator Westrom?
Yes.
Senator Wickland? Senator Wickland?
On 5 ayes and 6 nays, the motion does not prevail. Senator Dames.
I just want to make a few comments, and then I'll have some questions. But to start with, as I understand, targets are set usually by the Senate sets their targets, and usually the House sets their targets. And then each committee works to try to stay within those targets and puts together a bill that they feel is presentable and they feel meets what the citizens of Minnesota need. So I'm quite surprised when I find out that's not the way it works in the Senate. Apparently, the House sets our targets. And that just kind of surprised me, Senator Pappas, that the House set the Senate target for bonding for us. Can you tell me how that happened?
Senator Dames, I can explain perhaps. The Senate and the House talked with each other about whether we should set joint targets instead of having the Senate set targets separately and the House set targets separately. And we actually worked with the administration to find out where they were doing it. Theirs were higher because they had higher targets in mind than we did, but we came out with targets on, I think it was March 22nd for this, March 21st for the Senate, and the House came out with the same targets for themselves the same day.
So, Mr. Chair, are you telling me that then last Friday or Thursday, whenever it was, when the target got increased by 60 million, that the House, the Senate, and the governor met and made that decision? Is that what I'm hearing?
Senator Dames, I believe the process for changing the targets can be done at any time after the targets are done by the Senate Majority Leader and the Speaker of the House.
So, Senator Pappas, could you tell me what size is your conference committee? Is it a 3 or 5 members?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Dames, there's no conference committee.
Okay, so who made that decision? Did you just make the decision to accept the 60 million? Did you come back to your leadership, or how did that come about?
Mr. Chairman, Leader Dietzich agreed.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Pappas, it's in our rules that changes to targets have to be communicated. Can you tell me if Leader Dietzich communicated with Senator Johnson?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Pratt.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I'd like to, but she's not here. And Mr. Chair, can you tell me, did Senator Dietzich, I'm assuming you were part of the change in target discussion. Was that communicated to Senator Johnson as our rules should state?
Senator Pratt, I think I would, Mr. Naumann is usually the one who prepares the letters when the Majority Leader asks for a letter to be prepared, and I'm not sure of the status of that.
So, Mr. Chair, we don't know if we followed our own rules again. We broke our rules in having this hearing.
Senator Pratt, we will be, if there has not been a letter, there will be. We are required under rules to have a letter notifying people of the change in the targets.
Well, Mr. Chair, we're being asked to vote on this before the change in target is official. I think it's a little premature for this committee to be voting on that target, on a bill that exceeds the targets before it's been properly communicated. Mr. Chair, I move for a recess until we, or adjournment until we get that target communicated properly.
Senator Pratt, I sometimes wonder how much you care about what the targets are. You've offered several $1 billion of additional amendments to this bill. I think if the bill was 60 million higher or lower, it wouldn't have changed significantly the amendments you offered. And I think there were over $3 billion of amendments you offered.
Oh, Mr. Chair, you know it wasn't quite that much. But, and you're right. There is no cap on this committee. We're not bound. We can. I recall on several occasions. In fact, I recall an amendment that you made in finance last year where we took it in finance and made it work within the target. But what we have is we have Senator Pappas saying that the target was changed by the Speaker, but there's been no communication in the Senate as far as I know. And I think Senator James's point is interesting in that we have the Speaker adjusting Senate targets.
Mr. Chairman, just staff reminds me that the target over the biennium over 2 years is $2.298 billion. And so the idea of shifting dollars, the decision was made by the leadership to preserve $1 billion for next year and do a cash bonding bill next year. That's why we have a lower target. So the 60 million that was allocated for the Republican House members in this bill came off of the part of the decision, the money that was held over till next year. Sorry, I'm not being very clear. I'm tired. So, yeah, it's within my target. So the targets haven't changed, so there's no need for a letter to the minority leader.
Mr. Chair,
Senator James.
I find it very interesting. We just hear now that they've already made you folks have already made the decision that you're going to do a cash bonding bill next year. You're not even going to involve the minority. You're just going to go ahead and do a cash bonding bill. Senator Pappas just stated that decision's already been made.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Dames, the cash target for the bonding bill committee was 2.298. That was on the target list. The decision was made to preserve some of that money till next year.
I'm not questioning Senator Pappas, how much was in it. I'm not questioning, I am commenting that you said that you're going to do a cash bonding bill again next year. So you've already made the decision as the chair of bonding that you're not going to involve the minority. You're going to go ahead and do a cash bonding bill. You just stated you're going to do a cash bonding bill next year.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Dames, it could always be a combination like we did earlier this year where we had a bonding bill for 1.5 and we had a cash bill for 393, and then with the target, we could have done another cash bill. So there's always been the intention to do a mixture of cash and bonds.
You didn't talk about a mixture of a bill. You said we're going to do another cash bill
I didn't say that,
next
Senator
year.
Dames. I'm clarifying.
I heard what you said.
You just needed to ask me to clarify, and then I am clarifying.
Yep.
Further discussion on the Pratt motion to, motion to recess. On the Pratt motion to recess until, yes, to adjourn.
Didn't hear that motion.
On the motion to adjourn. Want to take a roll call, Senator Friends? Thank you. I think that would be helpful. On the Pratt motion to adjourn this meeting, staff will take the roll.
Chair Marty?
No?
Senator Friends?
No.
Senator Pratt? Yes. Senator Champion?
No.
Senator Dames? Yes. Senator Draheim?
Yes.
Senator Eichhorn? Senator Mohammed,
No.
Senator Murphy,
Nope.
Senator Pappas,
No.
Senator Westrom. Senator Wickland, Senator Wickland,
There being 5 ayes and 6 nays, the motion does not prevail. Senator Pappas moves House File. Senator Pratt.
Mr. Chair. I wonder, Senator Pappas, can you explain the $1.169 million in cancellations to help us understand what's being canceled?
I'll turn to Ms. Grunwald Mulder.
Ms. Grunwald-Noldner, please go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, I believe on page 68 of the A17, the cancellation language used there is what's dictating the 1.169, which is coming from the cancellation report submitted by Minnesota Management and Budget. And I don't know off the top of my head what was included in that amount. I could always phone a friend of MMB.
That's just one.
Ms.
Mr.
Noldner,
Chair.
perhaps.
I'm sorry, please.
This is Ms. Conboy.
Welcome to the, Ms. Convoy, welcome to the committee, and maybe you could explain the cancellations.
For the record, my name is Marianne Conboy. I'm the Capital Budget Coordinator at Minnesota Management and Budget. From the MMB General Fund Capital Projects Cancellation Report published in January 2023, there are 5 previous appropriations for cancellation. One is from the Department of Administration for MCF New Intake and Health, Historical Society Hibbing School District Grant, Education Department 2018 School Safety Grants, Education Department 2018 School Safety Grants, DEED, a Wellness Center project. These are all from appropriations from budget periods 2019 and earlier, and just remaining amounts that are not under contract and subject to cancel under current law.
Thank you. Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. I appreciate the clarification. Mr. Chair, it's getting late. And before we move, I know you're looking to move to Senator Pappas fairly quickly, but I have a couple of thoughts. And it's something Senator Draheim said. And we heard it over the when the roles were reversed, we heard it a number of times. Your budgets reflect your priorities. And there's been a willingness to work across the aisle. I especially, well, and yet we just can't seem to find the will or the way to come to a bipartisan agreement. So we're stuck with a very partisan bill that reflects Senate Democrats' priorities. Senate Democrats are putting $22 million into wastewater, hundreds of millions into nonprofits, letting our infrastructure continue to deteriorate. I'm just amazed, Mr. Chair, that we have approximately 40 projects to nonprofits and we're told we don't have the money to improve a railroad crossing. We don't have the money to make 169 safer in Jordan and Maple Grove. We don't have money to help a town of 325 get clean water. But we've got room for 50 nonprofits. And Mr. Chair, the Capital Investment Committee is really intended to fund public projects. And what we have is not that. Sure, we have some HEAPR, we have some local projects. But we've got Norway House, we've got Lower Phelan Creek Project, we've got Listening House, which is an extremely controversial project. I've been getting a lot of emails on that. And on and on and on. And I don't mean to pick out any one of these, but the fact of the matter is none of them. They might do good work in our community, but not one of them is a public project as the Capital Investment Committee was originally intended to be, which is why we put the restrictions on the bonds. And I find it interesting, the priority of Senate Democrats to cut roads, to cut bridges, to cut wastewater, and fund 40 or 50 non-profit projects when we have so many needs across the state. Senator Pappas, you've said it many, many times. We have way more needs than we have money to fulfill them, and we have to prioritize. And I find it hard to believe that these are the best priorities we have, as our roads and our bridges continue to be rated poorly across the state. As the Pollution Control Agency changes water standards, making every one of these small communities now having to build new water projects, because as I recall during the bonding tour, a lot of it was due to a regulatory change. And we provided a few amendments. We didn't really expect them to go on around the offers that we've made to try to find a bipartisan solution to get a bonding bill done, a significant bonding bill, because you're right, Senator Pappas, we didn't do a bonding bill last year. Last one we did was in 2020. We shouldn't be doing bonding every year, but you and I disagree on that. I understand, and I appreciate that, but we should have done a bonding bill last year. And as a member of the Capital Investment Committee, and I think Senator Dames said something very similar, I never saw a spreadsheet. I don't know that there was an agreement. When the bonding bill came in front of us and we were told it was last year's bonding bill, I had nothing to compare that to. And I hope you can understand that from my perspective, because you were the lead and you maybe had some inside information that we didn't. But I can hope you understand from the rank and file member on the committee how frustrating it is to be able now to say, okay, here's where we're at. But Mr. Chair, I started going down the road of compromise, and Speaker Hortman, from the first day of session back in January, was threatening an all-cash bill. It's almost as if this was the long-term goal all along. And now we hear, and whether it was misspoken or not, the threats are already being made of an all-cash bill for next year, our normal bonding year. And it's frustrating because the people of Minnesota expect us to do better. The people of Minnesota expect us to work together. And I'll go back to that first day when we were told that we were going to that the majority was going to reach across the aisle and we were going to work in a bipartisan fashion. And Senator Johnson said the same thing. And here we are. We're trying to work across the aisle. We're trying to find an agreement. And we can point fingers at one another. Senator Pappas, let's just agree that maybe both sides of this have failed. But let's give our leaders a chance then to go back and find a win for the Democrat caucus, a win for the Republican caucus, and a win for the people of Minnesota. This is not the bill that we should be pushing forward. It should have gone back to the Capital Investment Committee. That's where this work should have been done. The debate on whether or not which nonprofits should be in this bill, how much nonprofits should be getting, should have been done and votes taken in the Capital Investment Committee. And I am just frustrated, Mr. Chair, and I'll reiterate back to the conversation we had earlier, that with 8 working days, counting today, the only urgency I can find is a desire to end the session early so the speaker can go on a speaking trip. And we seem to be accommodating that. And we've given up our role and our responsibility and our obligations as a separate body of the legislature. So, Mr. Chair, I'm going to request members vote no on this bill. There are a lot of worthy projects, but I think we've heard that this is a bill of retribution. You didn't vote for the bonding bill, so we're taking your projects out. And we're taking the policy fixes that were in the bonding bill to fix the mistakes that were made in the 2020 bonding bill. We're going to take those out too.
Senator Pratt.
It's not, Senator
Just to
Pappas.
clarify on those modifications, those have to go into a bonding bill. We can't put those in a cash bill.
Thank you. Even more of a reason, Senator Pappas, for us to work together and find that, because those issues need to be worked out for both members of your caucus's projects and our members' projects.
Senator Pratt, if you're interested in doing a modifications bill and your caucus would agree to that, we can do that in Senate Bill 669.
I would suggest you talk to Senator Housley, because that's above my pay grade. But Senator Pappas, I think we're getting to the point that we should have found an agreement. You knew taking the bonding bill to the floor was going to fail. It wasn't a surprise. But we did it anyway. And it seems to be part of this larger plan that the Speaker laid out at the beginning of session to do an all-cash bill. And I think Senator Francis' comments earlier, both on the floor to Senator Johnson saying, well, we could have done more in tax relief had you passed the bonding bill, and we're sitting there saying, well, We'd have passed the bonding bill if you'd have just met us on tax relief. We would have given you what you wanted if you voted for the bonding bill, but we couldn't tell you we were going to give you what you wanted until you passed it. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And now we're being told, well, you wanted accommodations on something we didn't need your votes on. We're only going to negotiate on things where we need your votes. Really? I think we should be looking at this session in its entirety. And we should be working across the aisle on every bill. I voted for some of the budget bills. I voted against some of the budget bills. I voted for some of the policy bills. I voted against some of the policy bills. Some of the authors did a better job than others. But this is not the bill that's becoming of the Minnesota Senate. And this is not a bill that is becoming for the people we represent. And it is wholly inappropriate for us to ignore the constituents of 49% of the members in this body. I have a project in here, thankfully, because I have a DFL rep. Thank you for pointing that out, Senator Pappas. That's wrong. And Senator Pappas, over the years, I've come to know that I know that you know it's wrong too. And I get the pressures that you're under. But we've all got to be better than what we've seen here this session. And we've got to be better than what we've seen here tonight. And we've got to be better for what we see in this bill. Members vote no.
Senator Dames and Senator Murphy.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is probably a question for Ms. James, but procedurally, this is probably the most nonprofits we've had in a bonding bill since I've been here. And many a times during Finance Committee hearings, we've talked about people having to turn in financial statements and do things like that in order to see if they're financially going to be able to handle some of this money. So could you tell me, Ms. James, what will the process be if the bonding bill is passed and these various nonprofits are going to get quite a bit of money? At what point will the 990s be checked and these financial requirements be put in place in order to make sure that we're going to be able to give them the money?
Ms. James, go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, MMB will have a process that's very similar for distributing funds for bond proceeds to political subdivisions, but they have we should maybe check with them to see how they check on the 990s before distributing money for these kinds of grants, which you're right, we have not done much of because there hasn't been a lot of cash for a target for bonding bills.
Is there somebody from MMB here?
Ms. Conboy.
While she's coming up, Senator Dames, they do have a form that we call the MMB form. And so we've required all the projects to fill out the form that provides kind of all that information that we need to know about their project. And then if they are being appropriated through deed, they also have a process that they go through to check on the organizations. And I think Ms. Conboy.
Ms. Conboy.
Oh, there she is, sorry. She can tell you a little bit more about their process.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, when it comes to nonprofit grantees, the process is very similar to that of other grantees, like local units of government, in that the entity that is appropriated the funds, such as deed, would enter into a grant agreement to set up the terms of what would need to be shown in order to receive funds. I'm not familiar with your question, though, and what kind of level of detail would be shown But full funding, for example, would be something that they would have to show before state funds are released.
So, Senator James, the state funds are the last dollar in, so whatever we describe in the rider, they have to have raised all their match. And then it's also on a reimbursable rate, so it's a cash flow issue for a lot of organizations, so they have to have the capacity to pay their bills, then they submit the bills to MMB and are reimbursed.
Follow-up, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Senator James.
So they would need to follow the same standards as other people that we've talked about in Finance Committee. I think those have been probably beefed up a little bit, and so they would have to follow those standards the same as anybody else. Is that correct?
Ms.
Mr.
Conboy.
Chair, I'm not familiar with the standards that you referenced, but it would be the same standard as the senator has described, where full funding would need to be met in order for any state funds to be released. And typically, the work would have to be proven to be done before the state funds are released.
Thank you.
And Senator Murphy, I assume you've got that language in your bill that would cover all these grants as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we do have the grants policy in the state gov bill, yes, that we are soon to close up.
Anything further from Senator Dames? If not, Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Pappas. It's been a real privilege to sit next to you on the floor. And I think I have watched you draft 1, 2, 3 bonding bills in the course of the last 4.5 months. And I understand, I haven't ever served on the committee, but I understand it is a position that members often want to be a part of. They want to be on this committee because they know there is a direct impact on the lives of Minnesotans and our communities across the state. But it isn't until this moment that I understand how difficult it is, and the strength that is required in a chair to be able to withstand the scrutiny and sometimes the misguided scrutiny that you receive as the chair and the author of this proposal. So I wanted to thank you for that. I thought the first bill that we moved through the Senate months ago was such a strong proposal for the state of Minnesota, and of course we all know that that didn't pass. And when I hear the lament about a lack of bipartisanship, I think that was a moment. It was a moment where we could have done some really good early work for the people of Minnesota, and we're all going to say what we think Minnesotans want, but I think more than bipartisanship, they want us to get our goddamn jobs done. And you brought a bill to do that very early this session, and I am grateful for that. And here we are now, because that didn't pass. And you are, and I am with you, committed to doing as much as we can for the people of Minnesota. And so it's been a hard hearing. I see that it has been hard for you, and there you are. There you are, in the seat, fighting for the people of Minnesota, doing your job as the chair of the bonding committee, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And Senator Pappas, in the discussion earlier about a cash bill next year, I think I like what you said earlier this year, and I hope same is true next year, that we keep trying to get a bonding bill and a cash bill, because I think there are so many projects out there that deserve funding, and I hope you can get that. But as you're moving House File 670 as amended, but you want to speak to that before the motion is
No,
voted?
Mr. Chairman, we're all tired. I just renew my motion.
On the motion that sent House File 670 as amended be recommended to pass. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion prevails. And before we adjourn, because this could be our last meeting of the year, I'm not sure, there's possibly another hearing yet, but wanted to just send a minute, because it could be our last meeting, to say thanks to Senator Friends, the Vice Chair, and Senator Pratt, Minority Lead, and all the members of the committee. And I think it's really important to point out again, the thanks to Eric Naumann and all the extremely hardworking fiscal staff tonight, including Ms. Grunwald-Nogner, but obviously everybody else at the other hearings, and Lexi Stengel and all the council staff who's worked with us tonight, again, including Stephanie James, and the drafting support specialists in all your offices, because there's amendments tonight. There were quite a few of them. And certainly our dedicated page is Claire DeMay tonight, who has been working extremely hard. And earlier in the session, Callie Courtney and Ileana Sondrup and Morgan Turner, who was here for part of the session as well. And then Jackie Clinton, the DFL researcher, and Joey Wiley, Republican researcher, and all the researchers on both sides who have been helping all of the bills through this committee. And again, to Killian Becker, the committee legislative aide, and Elspeth Cavert, the committee administrator, I thank, I mean, there's a ton of work behind all this, and our meetings, we're dealing with a lot of major issues for the state, and I want to thank the whole committee and all the staff who make it possible. And with that,
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just wanted to say, despite our differences of opinion, I appreciate your leadership on the committee as well.
Thank you, and we may be meeting again, but I don't know for which bill, so I'm going to assume this may be the last one for the year. With that, this meeting's adjourned.
Oh, thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks. Thanks.